Hello, I've decided to every month update on my project I'm doing for my project and portfolio class. I'm currently in month 3 of 5, which is the first week, and I would like to try and do these at the end of the month. So basically, this is the end of month 2. And this video will be longer than the rest because I am going to introduce the whole idea of my project and give any background information. So the whole idea of my project is to create an easy at-home way to garden, and I mean it can be used professionally, it can be used for beginners, it can be used in between. So as you're seeing, there's an app, and it would also I'm trying to be able to make it auto water plants based on set values. In the end, that's the goal. Right now, the specific goal is just to be able to view the data through the app, view it over time, as in a graph of the history and the now. And this will actually be going on campus. I'm working in close relation with two chair members. I forget their exact title, but my professor and then another person. So now my app. So in a class prior, before my final months before I graduate, which is capstone, um, I started with this idea, and I didn't have any idea that I was going to be able to do anything that would take effect on campus. I thought it was just a regular project. So I brought it up, I came up with the idea, and I prototyped it in one of the classes. I had 1 month, and so I created the prototype, like I said, and then I made the actual app design itself, like here, in Android using Jetpack Compose and Kotlin. And what I did was I had some experience before for a 2 month class with a previous app that's on the Google Play Store. So I used to get it mostly complete within 1 month. I use some code that I previously used in there, like to create basically page templates, like a main page. It would have the bottom app bar, as you can see on this screen currently. You have a home and a settings, and then you have on the top it says your current location, like home, your current page location, not your actual location in the real world. And then you have the Bluetooth icon. All that I had previously used in my last app in some way, and I was able to create mostly this how you see it now, except for this gray box in the upper left that was not there originally. The original idea was it was still the same thing, but for regular users, regular people, not like companies or like a big IoT setup. And so there were some things I didn't think thoroughly because I only had a month to do it, sadly. And so it only had the idea of one sensor at a time of live data, and that was it. So basically, on this page, it just showed the four different values: the temperature, the humidity, the soil moisture, and light. And by the way, that is what those four sensors are in order in that box that you do see on screen. Those are currently not the accurate values because I have not set up Bluetooth, but I'll get to showing off the app in its current state right and after I speak on it. And so in these months, I had to transition it over to my idea of actually being on campus for 4 different plots, so to speak. Basically, imagine 4 pots, like 4 potted plants. This is not actually what it is, but imagine that. So then there'd be 4 devices, which means four types of sensors. So there'd be four of these gray boxes in the end, and then there'd be a hub in between the phone and the device itself to gather that data and then send it to my device. That is the idea now, and that's where I am switching everything over. And then at the start, I was just using a SparkFun Red board, which was what we were provided in towards the start of our degree or our college time. So that's what I started to use, and then from there, I imagined using an e-ink display for low energy usage, because that's what I imagine when I think of someone that wants to garden. They don't want to be heavily involved, constantly looking at their system. They don't want the best tech in the world. They don't need like a very big computer or anything. They just want something to be able to view, and then they don't want to spend too much money now or over time with it. So an e-ink display would only use energy to change what's on that screen itself. And it works well enough. It's just like a Kindle. It's the same thing. But so with that, I need to upgrade the memory to store basically the whole screen, like every pixel in some format. So I upgraded to an ESP32, which in the end was very good for me because ESP32s are very well for IoT projects, which this can be called, or I like to call it. So I had to switch over a couple things, like I was just using a Bluetooth Classic before. If you don't know, Bluetooth has two different types. There's Bluetooth Classic, where you can send high data, like a lot of data at once or in all, and constantly use it, and it's not really the most power efficient one. And there's Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE, for like heart sensors and stuff like that don't need to be sending stuff. Like if you think of headphones, you need to send high quality sound to a device, and in this case, I only need to send like an integer or a float, depending on what it is, every like second or so. So that was able to help, but I had to transfer stuff over because the Bluetooth stuff I was using before, I can't use Bluetooth Classic. I had to switch over to Bluetooth Low Energy. And for just to note, for the sensors, I'm using a DHT 11 or 22. I'm sorry, I don't remember, but it's a temperature and humidity sensor all in one. And then I am using a soil moisture sensor from SparkFun. I'm using a photoresistor for the light sensor, and they're all connected through an ESP32, and the Bluetooth sends it over. And from eventually, I'll be getting more supplies from the university that I've requested for a prototype, and then I'll be using ESP now to connect all the sensors together. Basically, every potted plant, so to speak, will be its own PlantLink device, as I like to call it. And all those will communicate to the hub, as I was speaking about before, via ESP now, because it's a quick, easy way to communicate that isn't like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. And this is outside, a little far away from any of the buildings at Full Sail, so I have to use I can't use Wi-Fi. So ESP now will be to communicate from the PlantLink devices, which is all the sensors, to the hub, and the hub will send data via Bluetooth Low Energy specifically. So now that I've gone over all that, I'll show off the app. So as you see, here is the main page, you see the design of it is the bottom. It looks like a terracotta color. That's basically like the pot, as you can imagine, the pot for the potted plant. And then the green plant or leaves, whatever you'll call it, at the bottom center is the plant and the potted plant. It's just the design choice I chose. And the top kind of is like an extension of the plant. I just imagine green in that sense. I don't know how to explain it too much better, but and then I have settings for the device itself, so you can read Celsius or Fahrenheit, and these save on your phone. So if you are changing like whatever plant you want to use, these will save. But if like say another person wants to look at the plants, they can view it in their own temperature unit. I'll be showcasing that off when I actually connect to the Bluetooth. And then here, remember this is still a work in progress. This is, let's say, the second month of 5, starting the third. So this is the graphs. You could zoom out, you can zoom in. You can do that to see where you are. This is the Y is the temperature. And then I would give better naming for this. It's not in that phase currently. And this does correspond to the current plant you have selected. So as you see the name, it carries over. This average value that you see in the center of the screen is the actual average of all these data points. And if I wanted to, I could change the color of the graph. I just haven't gotten too much into that because right now this isn't actual data that has gathered, because I still have to get all the SD card stuff, because that's how I'll be storing the data over time of the plant. And I need this week I was actually trying to work on the real time clock, which is in the Arduino itself, to be able to timestamp these like to get the sensor, like an average data of the sensors of one day, and then over the days, and then that will be uploading to that'll be stored within the device itself, the Arduino, not on the phone or online, because once again I can't really access the Wi-Fi, and I don't have that stuff yet, so I'm waiting for that. But like I said, this week I was working on one of the things I was working on was time. Everything else I have completed. I found out that I have a real time clock that I can use, but I haven't had time to work on it yet. And tomorrow I have build review, so I'll be working that. I'll probably have finished by Thursday. So yeah, that data will be stored to there. I need to, because I was trying to use time through Wi-Fi. That didn't work even through their example code, the ESP32's example code, by the real time clock I said, so I'll be working on that. Like I said, this average and the I guess the degree unit of temperature does change on here because I have it set to Celsius, but it doesn't actually change, because I see 84.96 is very, very, very high, and converted to Fahrenheit. It doesn't actually transfer, and it's not actually too important now because, like I said, this isn't the actual data of it over time. So I'll just go back here. That's just random data points that I have in a list, and then it calculates it in a function to make it better. These are not actual true data points here, because these all use the same list currently. But just goes to show that the function can find the average of the list of these data points. And I could use the same function here, here, and here. But this one is the only actually correct one. So that's when I click here on the setting, on the card itself, And then if I click the three dots, I can change the plant name, and I can change the soil moisture range. So as I said, the end goal is to have it auto water the plants. And eventually I'm thinking when it gets to like certain heat and like a certain algorithm, I guess, in the end, but like a certain heat, certain soil moisture range, of course, different light and humidity levels, it'll figure out like when it should auto water based on what you input. And then I also want to be able to have like a drop down menu for beginners who don't know all this information to input. But that's in the future. So I could type in here. I can want to type. I'm still, as you see, the different values for humidity. Sorry, for soil moisture, which is the third sensor. You see that's percent here. It's out of 100. But then when I go to settings, it's basically 0 to 1 digit to 4 digits. Yeah, I'm going to figure out what way I want to do it. Right now you can only type in 4 characters because, like I said, it only goes to a max of 4 characters, so they should not be allowed to type more than that. So, and then you could type in here. I don't have a max right now because max amount of characters, because how this works, the cards can display the title of any length. It just makes the card longer, and how this would be displayed is it'd be a card right next to it. It'd be 2 cards, and then if there's 4 cards, it'd be 1 card on the left, 2 cards on the left, 2 cards on the right, but 2 per each row. And then there's a Bluetooth, and this is also just a temporary design. I know the start scan and stop scan do not look good in their color, their design. I originally wanted this to be, if you have ever like opened the Bluetooth, I guess this might also be removed because it might be like a different thing for Material 3 for Google. But I remember it would open like an Android prompt of Bluetooth devices, and I was going to do it from there. And that was just going to be on the main page, is going to pop up over this. But I never got to doing that. I've been doing more important things than that because this does work. I have just recently finished transferring the Bluetooth Classic code on my Arduino and on this phone, on the app, sorry, over to Bluetooth Low Energy. So, because that took a while to just figure that out. And so if I hit Start Scan, you see I can hit PlantLink device, and this once again it could look better. If I hit that, I have a visual cue currently that I have built in. There is a blinking light every time that the data of the sensors updates. So basically, at the end of the I forget the name, the loop, in Arduino, because you have setup and you have loop. At the end of that loop, I just have a function that the built-in RGB on the board, I have it blink twice, and it blinks within like half a second, like 2 quick blinks, and then it pauses, and then every 2 quick blinks I know it has updated value, and I see that right now. So I can see if I go here, this is the actual values in my room. So I see the humidity's around 39% real humidity. I see the temperature in Celsius is 23, and then you see the moisture, I have it just out in the air. And it's basically, what happens is it uses the resistance between the 2 prongs. It's gold plated to last longer too, to prevent from any corrosion or anything. So what I can do is I put my 2 fingers in between them, and it could simulate water moisture values. And you see the light, it is pretty light in here, but it is late, so there's no sunlight coming in, and so I'll what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show off the soil moisture right now. See if I do this, I connect lightly, just that. And then I have actually tested this. This does actually work with me actually putting that in a pot with soil. And so if I put my finger over the light sensor, it should dim like that. And then yeah, I guess like a lot of light can still shine in, but if I put it back off, it does that. And so like I said earlier, there's a setting, because I myself use Fahrenheit. If I want to switch it over to Fahrenheit, I hit Fahrenheit, go back here, and it just goes right back to it. So I can see that it's in Fahrenheit. It's 74 degrees in here, and then soil moisture still works. If I do this, and then I have the name set up to set up plant just as a little temporary thing, and I need to in the future be able to just change the plant data, but I just got it set up to, if you know Bluetooth Low Energy, you'll understand what I'm going to say next, but I just got the services set up, and then each service is a device, PlantLink device, and the characteristics all have the same UID, will have all the same UID. Each service will have the same UID of characteristics. So each temperature, let's just say that UID is just a regular number, even though it's not. A soil moisture sensor on every single service would be the characteristic of that soil moisture sensor. Let's say it would be 1. All the soil moisture sensors would have a characteristic UID of 1. And then in the case of temperature, that characteristic UID would all be 2. I know that's not actually how UID looks or works, but putting it in simpler terms for me to not create a random one in my head, that's how I have it. And then I'm going to look more into this, but I'm thinking of having a service for the settings of the plants, because the Bluetooth seems kind of less flexible for settings, like just sending over data. It seems like it's just for changing data, kind of. So, and onto that, I also made sure, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I set the services and the characteristics of the services that are the device itself to for the sensors to only be read and notify, and that's how I'm getting these constant updates. I'm doing notify. I don't have a loop or anything. I don't have a while loop. I'm not using a handler loop or anything to constantly check it. I'm only, every time that it notifies me, it will send me information, and I'm not able to write to it, which I don't want it to do. But maybe for the settings, I will enable it for the settings itself. Kind of like making variables private, just to make sure there's no changing happening, nothing fishy. But yeah, I'll be setting up a service. Most likely, like I said, I'll look into it for the settings to change the name, soil moisture range, all that stuff. And then, yeah, I'm still waiting on a couple things for the prototype. Right now, I kind of have like the hub and the sensors as one, because I only have one ESP32 in all the sensors. I don't have one ESP32 to make as a hub and one to make with all the sensors. So when I get that, I will be able to also do that. And when I get that, I'll also be looking into ESP now. And I don't think. Oh yeah, and to make it efficient too and less battery usage. Also, I'm going to be using solar for it. So, because like I said, it's a little far away from any of the buildings on campus, it needs to use solar, and then I'll be using a power bank to charge it and keep its charge overnight and stuff. And I'll be 3D printing a box using ASA to stand the UV rays, and it's tough and all that stuff. Um, so one thing that I do to keep it efficient on the battery too is when a device is not connected, like when my app is not connected to the Arduino, like I don't want to look at the data, it doesn't send the data. That's why I have that flashing LED. Only when I have a way to check if a device is connected, I have a callback for it, and when that is true, I have it send the data, and within that same body, I have it show the update through that function of the light. So that is all for now. Like I said, this is technically month 3. I want to have another video out in week 4. At the end of it, because I was planning to do it earlier this week, but I was in the middle of development of the app and everything, so I didn't want to update then. But at this point, like I said, I have build review tomorrow, so I have to push things to the development branch and be ready to show it off. So I'm at a point where I am able to test things, and nothing is being edited right now. So it's good to view, to showcase and everything. Like I said, for week 4 this month, I'm at the week 4s of each month. I will try and push out another update. Thank you for watching this. Have a good day. Bye.